Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We will just be starting off the webinar in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for more students to join in, and then we shall go live. Just some more and more students joining in. So another minute or so, and then we shall start. Okay, I think we are good to start. Shall we start, guys? Wonderful. So good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome on behalf of the Wall Street School. I am Shilpi Jain, ACCA by qualification, and I am the managing partner for the accounting courses at the Wall Street School. First of all, I would like to congratulate each one of you for making the first right move towards a successful and bright career ahead by joining in this webinar. Believe you me, this could be the game-changing session in your dream accounting and finance career that you are looking out for. And do you have any idea why? Have you ever gone on to Google and probably did a typed in the keywords top 3 accounting qualifications of the world? If you do that, you will get to see at US CMA, in fact, is right there on the top 3 of the list of the top 10 accounting qualifications in the world. And that is the qualification that we will be talking about today and showcasing the success story of Mr. Jayavardhan, who has very gratefully, agreed to join in and share his success story with you all. So very quickly, let me just introduce what qualification and what we're going to talk about today. So one qualification which you can easily do in a span of less than 1 year, only 2 exams to appear for, and that gives you, starting salaries, which is equivalent to that of maybe like a CA or CS in the, in India maybe as well. So that is the kind of qualification that we're talking about. And this is something that you can start right after your class 12th while pursuing your graduation. If you're a graduate already, or maybe a professional, and looking out for that next promotion in your job. So that is the kind of bandwidth that this qualification covers. Now, I have been joined very gratefully by two top industry people today. So let me very quickly introduce our esteemed guests for the day. So we have Mr. Jayavardhan Semwal, a US CMA alumnus who is serving as the vice president of Corporate Financial Accounting at Hewlett Packard since May 2018. He is serving on the IMA board as a global director as well since July 2020. He is also a member of the CFO Board of India. Prior to joining HPE, Jay worked with several multinational companies, including GE Capital, Prudential Financials, ICICI Bank, and Fiat Spa. He has 25 plus years of experience in the areas of automotive design, corporate finance, business finance, financial markets, international banking, FP&A, analytics, accounting, you name it, he's done it all basically. Jay is a US CMA certified and is also joined in today by Mr. Vineet Pawar. Vineet Pawar has been a catalyst for change in the education sector since 2006. With over 20 years of diverse experience in sales, marketing, business development, and brand management within education, Vineet is currently the Business Development Manager for the Institute of Management Accountants USA, the body that administers the US CMA qualification. So, on behalf of the Wall Street School, a very warm welcome and a big thank you to Jay and Vineet for sparing out their valuable time for the students who are looking out for the US CMA qualification and would like to know that how this qualification can be the game changer in their career. So very warm welcome, Vineet. Very warm welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's proceed with today's session I would just request Vineet to very quickly give a very brief introductory note about the US CMA qualification to all the students out there. Over to you, Vineet.
Thanks, Shilpi. I'm audible?
Yes, you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks, Jay, for joining today, and thank you, Shilpi, for organizing this wonderful event today. So I think thanks for a great introduction about me. So I'll quickly jump into who we are and what we do. So welcome everyone to the Institute of Management Accountants a webinar, we are a global leader in supporting financial and accounting profession, and we have more than 100 years of old legacy. And our key offering has always been a US CMA, Certified Management Account, which has been our flagship program, which is a globally recognized certification that builds expertise in financial planning, analysis, decision-making, ideal for the advancing career in finance. We have also launched just a year back another program, which is we call it FMAA, which is Financial Management Accounting Associated. A program which is focused on hands-on financial analytical skill set, which is perfect blend for the students who want to make a career in early age. And then we also have our unique program, which is for a strategic level, we call it CSCA, Certified in Strategy and Competitive Analysis. This certification sharpens the strategic and competitive analysis skills, adding value edge for the finance professional. And just a couple of months back, we have also launched another program, which is called a corporate membership opportunity, which is a corporate membership provides a company with an exclusive resource, training and networking opportunity to develop strength their finance team. This is a little bit about us. Thanks, Shilpi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vineet, for setting the tone and briefly introducing what IMA does and does so wonderfully well as well. So my next question would be to our esteemed guest tonight, which is what prompted you to pursue the US CMA qualification? And this is for you, Jay.
Hey, thank you so much, Shilpi. Thank you, IMA and the Wall Street School for first having me here. And thank you, everyone, for taking your time out to interact with us. My answer to that question may be a little bit long because I'll have to set some context and share some perspective because I believe that may benefit the audiences that we have got here. So when I started my career, it was not finance and accounting. I started my career in mechanical engineering. I did my mechanical engineering, and after that, my first job was with Larsen and Toubro. It was on power plant engineering side. And then I moved to an automotive company called Fiat. So my first 5 years of my career was in automotive engineering and then power plant engineering. Then I decided to go for higher studies. I did my MBA in finance from XLRI Jamshedpur. And that is how and when I switched my career from engineering to finance, My initial part of my career was in corporate finance. Being an MBA finance, I started my career in corporate finance. Then I worked in commercial finance. I worked in international banking, financial markets, and then I joined my current organization, which was Hewlett Packard at that point of time. And then we changed over the course of the period, as any large organization would do. And as I progressed my career in HP and HPE, I kept on doing multiple roles. Started with more financial planning analysis and reporting kind of a role. Then it did business finance, business advisory, and quite incidentally, sometime in 2012, I was having a career conversation with my then manager. So by that point of time, I was already a senior director in the company. And I always thought that, oh, I'm done with my education. I have to focus more on building more and more industry experience, right? So I was having a career conversation with my manager, who was a senior vice president, and the first statement that he made, that kind of shocked me out. So he said, Jay, I know you're a very hardworking individual. I like you, but you are not qualified. And that is when I was very shocked because I thought I'm overqualified. By that time, I had a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Had a postgraduate degree in automobile engineering. I had an MBA in finance, and that too from these tier one education institute here in the country. So I always thought that qualification I'm done with. But then he corrected me and he told me, don't get me wrong. He told me you don't have professional qualification in accounting because he said that the way your career is now shaping, I see you doing more and more accounting now, and you will end up doing more and more accounting in future because that is how my journey was evolving at that point. Because I was already done with banking, business advisory, I was more and more into corporate finance, and when you are into corporate finance, control and governance is key part of any finance organization. So I took that feedback very seriously. And that is when I decided, okay, let me go for professional qualification in accounting. And I started doing some research. The first natural thing which will come to our mind will be CA, right? CA is the most prominent, well known accounting qualification in our country. And then I looked at CA, ICWA, some of these Indian qualifications. But then I asked myself this question: will it be relevant for a US company? Because I was, in fact, at that point of time, I was not even in India. I was based out of Kuala Lumpur, right? So I was already a global person. I was asking myself, will an Indian qualification make a sense for me while I'm continuing to build up my career with a global company? So then I ruled out some of these Indian qualification and I said, okay, let me look at more US based qualification because I also had the option of going UK based qualification. But our company, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, is a US centric, US headquartered organization. And then I had the option to choose between CPA and CMA. Because these are the two, to your point, Shilpi, earlier, I think CMA is a very well-known qualification within US, very old qualification within US. Then the question I ask myself, do I want to do public accounting or do I want to do management accounting? Again, I realized that I would not become a public accountant. I always had the vision to continue my career with Hewlett Packard. If not Hewlett Packard, maybe some global company. I had no intention to start a practice, right? I had no intention to move into more taxation kind of jobs. It would have always been more corporate finance centric, and that is when I thought maybe a management accounting kind of a qualification would make more sense. And that is when I looked at the curriculum that CMA offered. I liked the curriculum, but they were offering. I believed that that is going to help me sharpen my strategic accounting skills because that is what I would have needed. And I'm talking about 2012 and we are on 2024. Most of it has come true. I can vouch that by what I did after that point of time. So I decided to go for CMA. I completed it. And then what happens in a large organization? That organization keeps on changing, right? So my manager was my manager for another 3 to 4 years, and at one point of time, the organization changed. There was a massive organization structural change in HPE, and the new incumbent manager that I was supposed to get, right? The way the role was my current role, which is leading accounting for the entire company. Because in my role in 2012, I was leading only accounting for a one particular region, that is only Asia Pacific, right? This role was leading accounting for the entire company, reporting into corporate controller of the company. And my then manager proposed my name. And the first question corporate controller asked, hey, is he a professionally qualified accountant? And that kind of takes me to, I don't know how many of you have heard Steve Jobs' speech at Stanford, which always speaks about connecting the dot. Because I was thinking, what if I would not have taken the advice that my manager gave me and I'm talking about this change in 2018. The decision to do CMA I took in 2012. We are talking about 6 years. Time was passed by then. So I always think myself that if the answer to that question would have been no, he is not a professionally qualified accountant, maybe I would not have got my current job, right? I would not have been having this conversation with you in front of this meeting today. So what I have realized I got two big realization out of this experience. One is, if you are really serious about a finance and accounting career, because I thought with MBA finance from an Ivy school, getting top rank, getting high marks, high knowledge, I was done, right? But in a finance and accounting world, professional qualification makes a lot of sense because many a time you need to be professionally qualified to certify certain financial statements and financial accounts because that is a mandatory requirement. So that is why now I'm always encouraging everybody that if you are really serious about uh, taking your career forward into finance and irrespective of Silvi, you spoke about a better career that we can get with professional qualification. I'm saying it is a must. It's no more. It's not a question of it will help you maybe develop in your career, but it will become must at some point of time in your finance and accounting career. And I know it is IMA forum. I know we have we need. I heard Sylvia or ACCA, not and I in my day job, I interact with everybody. I'm being very transparent here. So I'm the accounting lead for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I talk to IMA, I talk to ACCA, I talk to CPA, Indian bodies. Professional qualification is must. We all can take a decision on which one to choose. I think that is our personal choice. And Vinith, I know you may not like it, but I want to be very transparent here. That is our personal choice. But I believe having a professional accounting certification, if you're serious about your finance and accounting career, is a must. The sooner you get it, the better it is. I already told you all my choices of choosing CMA. It's not that I would not have cracked CPA, CA, going by my P degree. If I share with you, I think I was pretty confident that I'm a very hardworking guy. I could have done it. My choices of CMA was more strategic in nature. The other thing I personally liked about the program is it's a two-part program. What happens with a multi-part program is sometimes it frustrates you, right? It is not like our school or college examination where you prepare, you take all the examination at one go, and you have got the entire ecosystem, right? Generally, in a school and college setup, in my engineering college, my MBA, I have passed n number of, but then we do it together as one group, and we were pushed towards that. When you go for a self-study mode, sometimes multi-part, and I think I'm sure Shilpi will agree with me because ACC is a very comprehensive multi-part exam. Sometimes multi-part exam can frustrate you to begin with. And my encouragement to all of you, do not stop. Maybe go for CMA because only two part that gives you two advantages it will give, right? You may be able to do it at a faster pace because if you are focused, you do it, that will help you improve your confidence. And then my encouragement, go for other certification also, do ACCA, do CMA, I believe the more education we bring to our curriculum, the better we are. I think there is no end of education. I am at this age, with this level, I'm still pursuing certain certification. I only finished my course with I am Calcutta around CFO program around a year back. There was a full year virtual plus face-to-face course. We all always have to keep on learning, but I think this is my personal experience that having a professional qualification in finance and accounting world is a huge plus. So please do take that very seriously if you are thinking about a long-term finance and accounting career. So I know it's a long answer to your question, Shilpi, but I thought sharing some perspective here may be of some use to the audiences. Thank you.
Absolutely, Jay. I mean, I'm really, thankful to you for being so honest and being so, actually, you've shared your heart out in terms of what your journey really was, what prompted you to make these decisions, and how successful and how right those decisions were, even at a very senior space you were already into. But for that next jump, definitely yes, a professional certification is definitely required.
I would
I
add
think
only one thing, Shilpi, that qualification or education many a time is not only for career growth, it is also
absolutely,
for learning growth. Because the way I look
absolutely.
at it, it may or may not give us our next career move. It may or may not give us that higher salary that we are looking for, but it will definitely give us higher learning. And in the long run, that higher learning will be to our advantage. So learning in my plain mind is lifelong exercise anyway. Sorry to cut you there. Well, this thought came to my mind. I thought
Goes
of sharing.
without saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. I completely, agree with you on that. So on that note, I would just very quickly put up the next question to Vineet. So what regions or industries are currently seeing the highest demand for US CMA, certified professionals as per your experience, Vineet?
Thanks, Hilpi. I think I must acknowledge while Jay's introduction speech, and I remember, I think he took a call of joining professional qualification in 2012, and we are just 2025, 2024 right now. And the shape and the speed of organization changing is happening very rapid. So I just imagine being a BTech, being from an MBA, being a professional qualification, and I'm still seeing that, Jay, you're still doing learning, you're still doing some qualification, and you're still upgrading. That's really hats off to you. Lots of learning for me. So to answer your question, Shilpi, just to give you an insight, US CMA certification professionals highest region rapidly growing in the market of Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia. There's a lot of development, and we're seeing a lot of growth happening. Especially India, we're growing at very fast pace. And then apart from India, then Middle East and Southeast Asia, we are growing at rapid pace. And to answer your second point was that the demand where we foresee of USCM is more into financial, banking, manufacturing, and even technology industry and healthcare. I think that's we are seeing that a good growth there. And apart from that, financial planning analysis and strategy decision making are essential for success. And we have covered that into our qualification framework. And so to also update you, the US CMA credential is especially valued to roles that focus on financial planning, cost management, budgeting, and internal controlling, which helping professional in today's world to advance their competitive sector in different organization.
Absolutely. Bang on there, Vineet. Thank you so much for your response. So the next question is for Jay. So Jay, from your experience at Hewlett Packard, how does the US CMA certification prepare the candidates for leadership roles in, multinational corporations like HP for that matter?
Yeah. So what is happening in the large finance and accounting world, not only in Hewlett Packard Enterprise, across the industry, that technology is playing a huge role, right? I'll again to share some perspective. When I started my finance career long time back, there was no ERP. SAP was not that prevalent. We used to do general vouchers on paper, and then I had to convert that paper general voucher into a micro. In fact, it was not even Microsoft. It was Tally. It was Lotus 123. And then we used to feed that data into a very primitive software. Some of the organizations still be Tally, right? So a lot of my time used to be is invested into preparing those vouchers, filling those vouchers into this tool. And then over the course of last 20-25 years, technology kept on evolving. First, I think ERP evolved. We had BAN, then we had SAP. SAP took it to the altogether different level. We got Oracle. And then some of these more interesting technologies came, right? Which is your Microsoft Access, lots of macros in Excel that kept on increasing the productivity of a financial analyst. And the focus moved from just capturing data to more analysis. But what I'm seeing now in the last 4 to 5 years, the quantum of change that we are seeing around technology is massive. And I wish if I could share with you today one talk that I did just before pandemic in 2019 on certain topics. And at that point of time, I had some thought in my process. I knew that something like Chat GPT or AI will come 10 to 15 years from 2019. I was hoping 2030, 2031, but then pandemic happened. It is my theory that pandemic accelerated a whole lot of technology advancement that we are seeing today. Zoom is a good example. I think Zoom, if you ask me many of us were exposed when we started to work from home, right? And then Zoom kind of forced organizations like Google and Microsoft to also adopt video kind of a mechanism, right? I know Zoom was the pioneer in that particular. This is one advantage of technology, but then AI has leapfrogged. AI has leapfrogged to an extent, team, that if I share with you some perspective from my organization. So, as you know, I lead accounting for Red Packard Enterprise. Some 6 years back, large part of my team, a large part of that work was being done by financial analyst. Today, in my team, I have got close to 300 plus bots. So these bots are digital workers. They have got employee IDs. They pretty much work like a human being, just that they are machines and they can work 24 by 7. They don't need any rest, right? That is one primitive, that is RPA. Then we have done a whole lot of machine learning. Our AP invoicing process, account payable invoicing process, is a machine learning process. The machine learns every time a vendor changes the invoice format. Only first time machine need to be taught, and next time machine automatically picked. Some of our forecasting engines are already AI driven. Our investor relation engine is generative AI driven. Now, the latest technology in the business is generative AI. The difference between generative AI and AI is AI has the power to play with data. Generative AI has got the power to play with narratives. So, it pretty much behaves like a human being, right? So we have tremendous amount of technology which has been developed into our or deployed into our finance and accounting world that definitely is going to do two things, right? One is it is going to free up a lot of bandwidth for humans. And I always say that technology is always good. And many a time we tend to relate technology to job losses, which actually is not true. I'll tell you why. For example, I was pretty young then, sometime 1978, 81, or maybe 85, 86, when our then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi took a decision to computerize railways. Right, there is a huge uproar. There's a lot, millions of jobs will go away. Where are we today? I think if India is aspiring to be third or maybe third will become so fourth or third largest economy in the world, whole lot of that is driven by technology. Right? And same thing when Windows came, when Excel came, Access came, people always, and when ERP came. But all these technologies have done two things. One, they have generated more options and they have made the job more enhancing. The only key question is, are we able to upskill ourselves vis-a-vis the need of those particular jobs? So same thing is happening with generative AI. AI, it is enhancing the expectation from humans. It is giving us more opportunity to do more enhanced analytics. It is all about, are we able to upgrade our skills to make best use of these technological advancement, which is happening, be it Hewlett Packard Enterprise, any other company. So we are at a very interesting juncture of time. We were at this similar juncture of time in late 1999, 2000, where lots of people took these nitty courses. They learned Windows, they learned Excel, Access. All those people who could learn technology, who could upgrade them into ERP, they all were highly successful, and everyone else got obsolete. Same thing is happening today. If we are able to invest time and learn some of these big data languages, big data tools, for example, Python. So I have got a target of ensuring that my entire finance team gets Python trained, because Excel and Access have got limitation to play with data, while Python is a big data language. I think lots of things are changing. Technology will keep on changing things very, very fast. And that is where the advantage of professional qualification become even multifold. Because the expectation from all of us will be to do higher analytics, will be to do more strategic accounting. And if you really, or strategic finance, whatever you may want to name it, if you really want to do those things, you got to enhance your skills. And that is what I was trying to allude earlier, that professional qualification may not give us our next career move, may or may not give us higher salary, but definitely will give us higher learning. So all these qualification will ensure that we are better positions to take advantage of what technology is going to bring to us, because technology is going to give us whole lot of data at a very faster pace. Our I think Vineet will speak about it. CMA and all these qualifications, they have got whole lot of focus on data analytics, financial data. How do you read financial data? How do you make sense out of that particular data? How do you provide strategic analysis based on that particular day. How can you advise the business to take right business decisions? I think all those things, these qualification kind of enhance skills. I personally feel that one more advantage of investing into professional qualification at this point of time, that it will better position us vis-a-vis our competition to make best use of what technology is going to give us. So that is again a little bit of a long answer to your question, but I thought sharing some perspective will help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay. And I think, you've put it very rightly that if in order to keep ourselves relevant in the fast moving technological world that we are living in, yes, certainly, a professional qualification is required. And AI and all of these technological advancements are there to help accountants, not to make them redundant. It's only just, for them to make better use of their time and focus on strategic decision making instead of the routine, mundane, repetitive task probably, which definitely technology can take care of. So thank you so much for your insights on that, Jay. So the next question is again for you, Jay, in terms of what key global trends in finance and accounting should US CMA professionals be aware of when looking to build a cross-border career?
I think one I have already alluded to, we should all be up to date on what technology is doing, because in any organization, the backbone of finance world is technology. Whatever finance work we do in today's world, everything is supported by deep technology. So I think one trend that we all accountants, finance professionals have to be very, very aware of what is changing on the technological tools perspective. Right, that is one big thing that we should look at. The second thing, it is my again intuition that whole lot of standards across the world are going to converge even at a faster pace. All of us know that world has moved to, many companies have moved to IFRS. IFRS is nothing but a more global standard of looking at things, because globalization has already moved to a different level. Today, even a very small company in India do not do business only in India. They work across the world. And when you are looking at this kind of a mechanism where world is so interconnected, only country regulations will not help. We'll have to look at accounting standards from a global lens. And that is another big advantage of going for some of these global qualifications, because what will happen, and maybe that was one more reason I went to maybe a CMA or CPA kind of a forum than maybe Indian accounting, because Indian accounting qualification more focus on Indian GAAP. But if you look at some of the global qualifications, they focus on, let's say, IFRS, more global standard, because that also we must be aware of. And some of these standards are going to evolve. And again, it is my intuition that over a period of time, one more addition that will happen to the accounting world will be ESG reporting. Today, just to give a brief on ESG is nothing but reporting around the climate impact. We call it environmental impact, social impact, governance impact. The way the entire climate situation in the globe is going, and these wars are only going to add to it. And it's only going to add to it. Some of the aspects that we will look at bringing into our accounting standard would be around ESG. And ESG reporting will be so operational in nature, because that will become a huge opportunity for accountant, because it will require people with a data skills. It will require people who can understand data first and then report and do analytics out of it. So I think all of our accounting jobs at some point of time, as financial reporting becomes more and more automated, more and more AI and generative AI driven, ESG reporting is so vast. That is where some of our firepower or manpower may get invested. That is the another global trend I would want everybody to watch out for. Any skills that we can develop around ESG reporting and ESG analytics looks like that is the next big thing. And I think financial accountants and financial professionals are very well positioned to take advantage of that huge opportunity that we have got in front of us. So I would say three big trends. One is around technology, second is around globalization of standard, and third one is around ESG reporting standard or compliance, whatever we may want to name it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay, for your insights on this. The next query from the students is for Vineet. I think should be the best person to answer that. So how does IMS support CMAs in developing the cultural intelligence and global business skills necessary for global job roles in today's time and age? Over to you, Vineet.
Okay. Right, Shilpi. See, apparently what we do is just like we upgrade our syllabus quite frequently. And right now, students are studying 2024 qualification framework. So we upgrade and we do a not upgrade by our own self. We do a deep dive research and we go to the folks like Jay and other people who are the brainchild building a qualification framework. So we take input, we take insight. And 2024 qualification framework, if you see, we have added AI, data analytic, and detailed skill set more into a qualification framework just to ensure that students and members stay ahead of the curve. And over and above, just to answer about you building cultural intelligence and global business skills through several key initiatives, IMA offers a global recognized curriculum, which is more into strategic making, ethical standard is there, management skill essential is to diversity is there. Additionally, IMA provide access to a worldwide network of professional and fostering cross-culture connection insight into international best practice. And we also host a lot of conferences, webinars, and workshops focusing more on global trends and culture and adaptability. And these events allow CMA students to engage with their peers in different countries, different culture, gain perspective of operating effective varied culture and business content. And also like Jay spoke a lot about ESG and then he talked about the digital skill set. We have added those certifications apart from CMA. We have added those skill set just to student to do while they're doing pursuing this qualification.
Wonderful. So I think that makes the US CMA qualification very relevant in terms of the skill set, the core competencies that, professionals are, looking out for in today's, employers are basically looking out for in today's time and age. So that's just great, Vinny. Thank you so much for your reply on that. So the next question is for Jay again. So what advice would you give to a US CMA pursuing a career in fast, evolving industry like technology specifically? Are there, any specific skills they should be focusing on, in developing?
Yeah, I think to my point earlier, learning is a lifelong exercise. So never stop learning. Even after you have completed your certification, a lot of time world around world us will keep on changing. So I think as I told you, I work with an organization which has gone through tremendous amount of change, and every organization on this planet Earth, if they have to survive, they keep on going through change. So often I am asked this question. People ask me, "Hey Jay, this change is happening. We are doing this acquisition. We are doing this divestiture. We are outsourcing. What about my job?" Right. So that has been a question that I keep on asking myself also. So I always believe that question of job is all about our skills. So as long as our skills are current and they are in demand, then we should not be worried. If not this company, some other company will hire us. If this not job, we'll get something else. But if our skills and whatever change happens, we'll be able to deal with it. But if our skills are not current, then there is a word in mathematics called iota. Iota is a very minuscule change. So even if there is not an iota of change around us, we should be worried. We'll get obsolete over a period of time. So my encouragement is whenever you start to build your career into a corporate world, always look at learning. Though that learning can come by virtue of doing small certifications, learning new topics, doing some self-study, but also can come by virtue of exploring different roles, getting into roles which you don't feel comfortable with. Because whatever, see, trust me, whatever you are comfortable with would mean that you have already mastered that art. So if you are comfortable, you should ask, I already know this, right? The moment we get into something which you are not comfortable with, that is when our learning curve will start jumping. So keep do certain roles which are not we are not very comfortable with, because to have a long lasting sustainable career, overall professional development is also important, and sometimes that comes by doing varied kind of roles. Sometimes don't do only interesting roles, sometimes do boring roles also. So certain roles in corporate world are very important, but they're very boring. So not many people do that. And because not many people do that, and I have personally done those boring roles, people who do those roles, at some point of time, they have an added advantage. Right. So I think get as much exposure as possible. Always raise hands. Whenever there is an opportunity come your way, do not shy away. And always stretch yourself. I believe there is no, they say that smart working is there, but smart working is always important, but I still believe there is no substitute for hard work. Try to do as hard as you can, do as many jobs as you can, try to put in as many productive hours as you can, contribute, deliver value, and create. We call it create a brand for yourself. I think we kind of encourage and teach people a lot to develop their own self brand, because brand is a huge value. We all know about, right? Let's say Tata. Tata is a massive brand. Many a time I buy a Tata Pro just by virtue of that particular brand, because we know, and that is the brand that they have developed all over. Same way we all develop our brand and our equity. So that equity come by virtue of we demonstrating the right behavior whenever challenge comes our way. So my last point on this would be we always have an open mind, because if you have an open mind, you will always keep on learning. So keep learning.
Thank you so much, Jay, for those, real heart out insights that you've shared with the young generation out there. That yes, we always, the generation today, kind of focuses on working smart rather than working hard. But it's so important to resonate the fact that yes, hard work will always, take you that extra mile, will always keep you relevant. And that is something which is like a key takeaway, for the audience out there, really. So thank you so
And
much
my
on
learning
that,
way,
Jay.
Shilpi, is you will smart work you may not be able to control, because smart work many a time depends upon the opportunity, depends upon if we have that kind of intelligence for that situation. But hard work is totally controlled by us. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is why I tend to trust more on hard work than smart work, because I believe smart work I may not be able to totally control. So I think let's keep on working on what we control. Definitely, it will help us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay, on that. So the next question is that, what are the some of the key challenges that you've seen professionals face when transition from local to global career roles, maybe, and how that possibly, how that can be overcome really?
I think the biggest challenge when we go from local to global role will be cultural challenges. So when we are working into an, let's say, an Indian environment, right? So every country tend to have a different work environment, different work ethics, and different work cultures. So we should have, if not, because understanding we get only when we start interacting with those cultures. But we must have the appreciation. And if we want to have the appreciation, to my point earlier, we should always have open mind. If you are in a global environment, my high encouragement, we should always be open to all sorts of opinions, all sorts of ideas, all sorts of beliefs, because they may or may not gel with what we have been exposed to so far. Because our exposure is by virtue of our upbringing, our culture. Somebody else's exposure is by virtue of their upbringing and their culture. What we think wrong, maybe right on somebody else's perspective, because perspectives, right and wrong, is also a question of perspective. So I think having an open, and I'm not saying that open mind means you accept everything. In the end, accepting and not accepting is our decision. We'll apply our own judgment, we'll apply our own sane sanity. But when you keep an open mind, you try to absorb everything. And then if you try to absorb everything, your decision making will be more balanced. You will, over a period of time, develop a quality. And that quality, in my plain mind, is the most important quality, maybe two qualities you will develop over a period of time that I believe are the most important in today's world. One is empathy. Empathy means it's not that do we understand others. Some difficult one. Do we make an attempt? So many a time, only making an attempt to try to understand each others may be good enough. And the second one is humility. Are we humble enough, right, to even accept our mistakes? So everybody accept the great thing that they have done, but accepting not so great thing require lots of humbleness. I think if we have empathy, if we have got humbleness, these are going to be even more important traits in the future world when technology is going to govern a whole lot of our tasks, because this is something which maybe artificial intelligence will not be able to. Machine may not be empathetic, machine may not have that kind of a compassion and passion, and that is why we may be able to differentiate ourselves. So that is what will happen to us when we kind of expose ourselves. So I think having empathy and again having humility, I have learned that really help across the world, because human beings, trust me, human beings are human beings. They may be speaking different language, they may be following different religious belief, they may be from different upbringing. everybody wants to be understood. Yeah, everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody wants to be talked nicely. It's a very common trait across the globe that I have seen. So if we develop all these things, we would be in a better position to be able to work in teams which are more cross-cultural in nature, cross-geographical or cross-national, and we may be able to develop better value. We may be able to develop better relationship or long-lasting relationship. That is how I have seen this happening, and I'm talking it from my personal experience because I have worked in physically worked in India. I'm an Indian. I have worked in Europe for 2 years, lived there. I have lived in Malaysia for 3+ years, and I travel a lot to US because we are a US based company. And most of my colleagues are all global. They're across different geographies. This is what I have learned throughout my experience so far.
Absolutely right, Jay. I think, absolutely bang on there, Jay. I think, you put it very nicely that ultimately, these emotions, this is what actually will set the human beings apart from the technology which is out there, right? And these are the key features that no technology can probably emote as of now, at least. So I think, yes, definitely these are some of the key features that we should imbibe in all ourselves to keep ourselves relevant and to keep ourselves human at the end of the day as well. So bang on there, Jay. Very quickly, I think I'm just a little vigilant on time. Quick question there, Jay. So HPE operates across various regions globally. So could you please share your perspective on how US CMAs can tap into international opportunities at a company like Hewlett Packard, maybe?
Yeah, I think global opportunities today are far easier than maybe when people like us started their career. In a multinational organization, should be global opportunities are always there. Again, my personal example, I joined HPE in India, then an opportunity came in Malaysia. I raised my hand, I went there. I have got lots of colleagues, team members in the company who have moved around, and that you would see across not only in HP, across all industries, right? But what will make us ensure that we can tap into those opportunities, right? Opportunities will be there, but they may or may not come to us. Whether we get that particular opportunity or not will depend upon, I would say, our preparation. And that is why I feel that many a time professional qualification may be an advantage. Think of this, right? Suppose a global role comes, and then there are two people applying for that particular global role. One person has got only India focus, and the other person has got more a global focus. There may be higher chances that organization may prefer the person having a global focus, because whenever you give somebody a global opportunity, it's a massive investment. An organization want to ensure that the right person gets it, not only for organizational benefit, for the benefit of that particular individual also, because it is not only about getting a role, it is also about being successful in that particular role. Many a time when I take a decision, and I take a lot of these career decisions for my team, right? Whenever I have to take a decision to give a particular role for an individual, in my mind, the first priority for me is I ask myself, will that individual be successful in that particular role? Because if I give that individual that role and if individual fails, I may be doing a disservice to that particular individual's career, right? That is very, very important. How do we ensure that? I always say this: opportunities is something that we don't control. What we control is preparing for those opportunities. So if we are really wanting to make a global career, to my point earlier, we have to first start with global mindset. And sometime that is where perhaps I'm saying even Indian qualifications are providing that opportunity today, but that is where perhaps having a global qualification many a time may help us develop that global mindset. I think that to me is very, very important, because in the end, you have to have the aptitude and you have to have the adaptability to be able to relocate and deliver value to the organization, whichever geography you may have to, you may go to EMEA, you may go to America, you may go to Australia. It depends upon the opportunity. So that is how I look at it, and that is what we see all the time in our, because in our kind of organization, relocations are very common. People keep on moving from one geography to another geography, one role to another role. So that is what I have seen and observed. I think having a mindset is very important.
Absolutely right there, Jay. I think, having a professional qualification, which is like a global qualification, gives you that wings to fly, gives you that ability to be able to fly. So I think that is something which is, very important. So I was just going through a lot of questions that the students have asked in the chat box, in the Q&A, box. So I'm just going to answer some of the quick questions that are there. And a lot of them revolve around the US CMA qualification and the pedagogy that we follow here at the Wall Street School for, delivering the qualification. So very quickly, let me just, run through the same. So we do offer offline classes in Delhi and Mumbai for US CMA and online for the rest of the world. All the trainers here at the Wall Street School are qualified US CMAs themselves. And being, an active partner of IMA, we do have some exclusive discounts from IMA on membership as well as the exam fees that students can take the benefit of. And very rightly, and I think throughout the conversation with Jay and Vineet, one thing was very common in the entire conversation was that how a qualification like USCMA, the professional qualification like USCMA, helps you keep yourself relevant in today's time and age. And apart from the USCMA qualification, at the Wall Street School, we also provide some practical insights, some practical ways in which you can use this knowledge as well, coupled with some of our other value adding courses, which includes the financial modeling, valuation techniques. We also impart AI and Excel knowledge to our students, Power BI. I remember Jay mentioning Python and how relevant and how important it is. So that is also being taught as part of our integrated USCMA curriculum. So basically, all the skill set that you require to become that complete accounting and finance professional is what we offer here at the Wall Street School. So I've just shared the link in the chat box, which the students can fill in to get, a detailed one-on-one counseling, to get a detailed one-on-one pedagogy in terms of how the classes, how the deliverables are there, and what you can expect after a professional qualification like USCMA, because I'm sure that, Vineet and Jay has generated a lot of interest about the qualification amongst the students. So thank you very much, Vineet. Thank you very
So,
much, Jay.
Shilpi, sorry, if I can get 2 minutes, there is one
Please, by all
topic and
means,
concern that I want to address because I was seeing some
please,
notes on the chat here. See, what we
by all
all need to
means.
understand that job markets are always driven by the economic cycles. So I come from a batch of XRI Jamshedpur when we had 9/11 and suddenly the entire job market crashed. So we are into a very similar situation right at this point of time. There are wars, at least 2 or 3 wars in the world going on. US is just after this massive election that also will have an outcome. The world right now in a little bit of, and we just came out of a pandemic. So world right now is a little bit challenged from an economic front. So many of us could be finding a challenge that the kind of career that we were hoping to get after doing some of these qualifications, whatever their qualification education maybe. You all may have heard about IITs, IIMs not being able to place their entire batches. It is just a interim phenomenon. And going by my own experience, that is why I quoted that I'm from the batch when the whole world crashed down, right? And then we all had to compromise on our early career. But then over a period of time, economic cycles they change. We went through one more cycle in 2008 when the entire deeper crisis came. My only encouragement to you all is having a qualification will always help you in the long run. In the short run, when you are struggling to find the right kind of a job, keep on doing whatever you get. Maybe keep on learning. Many a time that learning may not be through investing hard dollar. It can be just through self-study. Keep you up to date because trust me, economic cycles will change. Opportunities will again come, and to my point earlier, we don't control opportunities, we only control preparing for that. So be patient because these cycles, I have seen it enough in my life, they keep on changing, and when the up cycle will come, if we are rightly prepared, we will be able to tap into the right opportunity for us from a long-term sustainable career. So I would say never lose hope. Keep putting in the effort, keep trying, because if we try, we may or may not succeed. But if you don't try, we will not succeed. So keep trying it out and be patient. Right now, it's a challenging environment because I know personally from the business that I see around, but we all are hopeful that few quarters from now, some of these cycles will change.
Thank you so much, Jay, for resonating and reinforcing the confidence that a professional qualification like US CMA brings to the students. And, this, like you very rightly put that, there are cycles there, there can be ups and downs, there can be depression or boom in the economy, but having a professional qualification by your side will always give you that extra merit, that extra credit that you require. So thank you so much, Jay, for sharing your success story and motivating a lot of young individuals out there who've heard, great insights from you today. And thank you so much, Vineet, as well, for
Thanks,
always the
Simple.
wonderful support that IMA provides to us. It, definitely, we are, I think, all on the same page today that if you're a US CMA or any professional accountant or any professional qualification you have on your side, your insights are always going to be valued by decision makers. So I request everyone out there to fill out the form that I've shared in the chat box, get in touch with the team, get to know more about, all the accounting qualifications that are out there, and keep yourself relevant. And that's it. Then thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you all to all the students for joining in. Thank you so much, Vinny. Thank you
I'll,
so
I'll,
much,
I'll,
Jay.
I'll just before I end, I'll just add one thing. Every time when I meet Jay, I always learn new things. And today also going back, I'm learning new things that I've done close to 19 certification. I'm thinking, am I relevant enough? I'm thinking to do few more going forward. Thanks, Jay. And I think I'm meeting you in Chennai next week. So we'll learn some more things from you.
Sure.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Take care. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you so much.